Hollywood thinks that car doors just snap off their hinge easy peasy, but I put that to the test. In Fast and Furious movies, they shoot harpoons into cars and can rip the doors off. So I wanted to know, could I take something that's normally faked with CGI and do it in real life? And what does it really look like when you try to yank a door off of a car with a harpoon? I love the Fast and Furious movies. They're bananas, but that's why I love them. I have no problem suspending disbelief for a movie. I love escaping into a good story. But I'm also a nerd, and I love nitpicking the physics of movies. So I started by making a couple harpoons and testing them using a product called a can cannon. It's normally used for launching soda cans. Holy smokes! Oh, you can see the shockwave vibrated the camera. A little ember, I think, from the burning gunpowder. Oh, that's incredible! In the F8 of the Furious, ridiculous title, it looks like they used compressed air to shoot their harpoons, which is realistic, but it would require a larger air tank than they used in the movie and some custom machined valving. So I figured instead of using compressed air, why not use the power of exploding gases? It works by firing a blank cartridge. Listen to the fit on this. The goal for today is to see if I can shoot these harpoons through a car door. 3, 2, 1. It tumbled. I'm not sure what part hit. Might have went backwards. Because it tumbled through the air, I stepped closer to the door. 3, 2, 1. Ah. This thing really kicks. Newton's third law, heavy projectile equals big recoil. I think the can cannon wasn't very successful because it had such a short barrel. I could have made a lighter harpoon that might have pierced the door, but then it wouldn't have been strong enough for potentially pulling a door off of a car. I needed more barrel length, so for my next harpoon I pulled out my Mark III air cannon. Since you've seen it last, I've increased the diameter of the valve from 3/4 inch to 2 inch. Quite the step up. Because it has a longer barrel, I can make the harpoon longer as well. That way I have a section of the shank that can occupy the thickness of the door and still have room for the arms to open up. Air cannon harpoon at 750 PSI in 3, 2, 1. Holy smokes! Oh my gosh! What in the world? Goodness. Look at this crater it made. It skipped up off the ground and then flew all the way back here. Oh, went through the grass here. That's genuinely terrifying. It's right there on the ground. There's where I was shooting from. It skipped into the grass, skipped right here, and probably just went right over the fence. Holy cow. So now I've tripled the distance to the door, but I'm gonna keep the pressure the same in the cannon, 750 PSI. And the goal is to get it to stop right in the middle of the door, just like it does in the movies. 3, 2, 1. It did drop a little bit. It went through sideways. Well, it's doing harpoon things and keeping me from pulling it out. That's wicked.
It bent the rod.
Oh, it did. I ended this day of testing with a few mangled harpoons and some ideas for revisions, which I ordered from Send, who is this video's sponsor. All of the harpoons were made from 1/4 inch mild steel, except for one that had arms made of titanium for weight and strength. I love using laser cutting for prototyping, especially welding, because it allows me to use tab and slots to index the parts together and reduce warpage. Send is often my first thought when it comes to prototyping my builds. They offer so many materials and services now, from metals, plastics, composites, and woods, to bending, tapping, and powder coating. Not to mention how fast they are at getting me my parts. Check out Send for your next project and use code TB15 Tyler Bell for 15% off. I made some new harpoons, and now I'm back shooting a harpoon with a rope attached to it to see if I can get it stuck in a door perfectly like they do in the movies. This is harpoon with rope at 400 PSI in 3, 2, 1. Ah, fiddlesticks, it didn't go through. bounced up and over. Ah, that's not good. It looks like the rope caught on probably the harpoon. That's bent. Wow. This is Dyneema. It's abrasion resistant, very hard to cut, but it is just rope. Okay, let's look at the slow-mo. Oh wow, it's all tangled up. It looks like the cut in the rope did happen coming out of the barrel. If the air cannon's blowing the rope faster and ahead of the harpoon, that's not really gonna work, is it? Maybe someone could figure out how to make this work with a rope, but to eliminate some variables and simplify this experiment, I continued to try and find the right pressure and distance combo to get the harpoon to stop right in the door. Next, I turned the air pressure way down to 200 psi. 3, 2, 1. Yes! Oh my gosh! That is ideal! It's perfect! No way! I cannot believe my eyes. I nailed it. The stop ring performed exactly as designed. This is the moment of truth. If I can pull this back and it hooks, we're good. Did it hook? Did it hook? It hooked! Well, bam! Harpoon! Oh, this is gonna be incredible. Now that I knew it was possible to shoot a harpoon through a door with a big enough air cannon, and I could get it to stop in the middle of a door if I nailed the pressure and distance, it was finally time to see what it really looks like if you tried to yank a door off of a car. Does it look anything like the movies? In preparation for pulling the doors off, I punched a bunch of holes in the car ahead of time using my air cannon. I just sighted in the cannon to the rear door, and I need to know, will it go through 2 doors at once? If in the movie they didn't have their PSI dialed in for the distance they were from the car, they could go right through the car and even right through the driver. Harpoon versus 2 doors, 500 PSI in 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh, that was a bit high. I gave up on shooting through 2 doors at once and lowered the pressure to 200 PSI. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Bullseye right in the middle of the door. A little too much. Three, 2, 1. Oh my God! That interior panel got super wrecked.
I don't understand that. How does it not hit the center console?
How did it not hit the center console?
Again, or the steering wheel, or the seat.
I've already got a hole blasted in this door. I'm gonna take this harpoon. This happens to be the one with the titanium arms. I'm gonna feed the harpoon through the door. There we go. And I hook up this rope with a shackle to the harpoon. The rope goes through a snatch block that's hooked with a chain to that tree. And then it's connected to this kinetic rope, which has some stretch to it. And we've rigged that to my brother's 4Runner. This project gave me a chance to try splicing rope for the first time. It kind of looks like magic making the rope disappear inside of itself. This first door we're starting with, I'm not gonna modify at all. I'm not gonna touch the striker latch or the hinge. We're just gonna see what it does stock. And if that doesn't work, if the door's too strong, then we'll go in and start cutting bolts or removing bolts and see what it takes to get the effect of the movie. The reason I rigged this with a pulley in the middle is for safety. This way, the door or the harpoon, when it flies off this car, will go into the forest, and my brother's truck will be going this way. This is door number 1, titanium armed harpoon. This is just gonna be a slow pull. Hit it, Brandon. Oh! Oh! Stop. It looks like it just pulled the outer skin of the door off and ripped the hem around the outside of the sheet metal. The door frame is still on the car. Took some of the interior with it. Maybe this is just a thing with newer cars, but this skin is held on with seam seal and this hem is just rolled over and pinched. I am worried about one thing with this particular car, and that's the inner door skin. Well, the lack of inner door skin. On older cars, this inner skin would extend across the whole way, and so my Harpoon would have to pierce through 2 steel skins. Before we get to pulling the rest of the doors off, I shot Harpoons into the front fender and the A-pillar in an attempt to find some structure to really test the strength of my Harpoons. Oh, it's stuck in the windshield. That's gnarly. Wow. Front fender in 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's incredible. It's just stuck. Hopefully the arms will just spread on their own as we pull it out. Give it a tug. It bit. This is a Harpoon straight into the fender and into the structure of the chassis. I don't know what it's gonna do, but punch it, Brandon. Oh my gosh! I thought it was into more structure than that, but it just ripped the skin off the fender. It looks like only 2 of the arms opened up inside.
So if the arms were on this side, I'm thinking maybe it would have popped those welds.
Even if the Harpoon's arms were spring-loaded to open automatically, in a lot of the cases where the Harpoon was stuck in the car, the arms were pinned down so that springs wouldn't have helped. We shot it in here because we were thinking that this might be a really strong part of the car with a bunch of structure right behind the body panel.
See his line? That's the fender.
Is it?
It just ripped it right in half.
Oh, it ripped the skin. So it tore along here.
The indent right here.
Yeah, that's nasty. What did this rip off of? Oh, that was from that. It looks like it's just under some glass, but there is some steel on top of it. Harpoon versus windshield slash A-pillar. Punch it. Oh, that was scary. Ooh, that was scary. This is why we have the pulley set up, so all the danger goes into the woods and not back at us. There was nothing stopping that thing. You can see how this shoulder was pressing into the arm, and it bent that arm up pretty good. Since the skin pulled off on that last door, we're just gonna put a choker strap all the way around this door. That should do something. Yeah, okay. Something's gotta give, either the hinge or the striker, or it'll just scrunch this whole thing down to a little bundle of sheet metal. We'll see.
Or the 4Runner.
Or the 4Runner. All right, this is a door with a choker strap around it. Send it, Brandon. Holy crap. Golly. This hole was torn down to here. It ripped the sheet metal further with the strap. The strap is toast, as expected. So the latch held. The hinges don't look harmed at all. It just tacoed this door. Okay, I learned a couple things with these 2 doors. 1, we need to add some anchors to the ground so that the car doesn't slide. 2, the hinge and the striker held up very well and they didn't break at all. So we need to weaken those. And also 3, to avoid ripping the whole skin off or doing this mess, we need to distribute the force instead of a little Harpoon in the center. And I have an idea for that. I screwed some anchors into the ground and ratcheted the car to them. And to distribute the force across the door, I put a sleeve over this massive eye bolt so I could bolt a 1/2-inch steel plate to the inside of the car. One giant fender washer. I saw a video after filming this experiment that explained how they did this effect in Spider-Man No Way Home. Apparently, they replaced the hinge pins with balsa wood and pulled the door off with a pneumatic cylinder. But since I didn't learn of that until after filming this, I came up with my own method, which was to remove 2 of the hinge bolts and heavily score the remaining 2 bolts. I also cut the door latch and the bar that limits the door from extending too far. Hey, are you ready? Are you gonna just send it? Okay, good. Punch it, Brandon. Yeah! Yeah! Well, you gave it a running start, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, it came off in one piece, just like in the movies. Oh, the bolts snapped exactly where I wanted them to. That's superb. The latch opened up where I cut it. That's great. The hinge got all bent up. Where are the heads of the bolts? Oh, there's one. That's excellent. Oh, look at the gash it tore. The hole was there and it ripped it sideways. That's epic. The giant fender washer did its job. The inner skin is all pressed in. To recap what we've learned, you need a lot of air and a long barrel to shoot a harpoon through a car. Spider-Man's web would probably rip the outer skin panel off. If Captain America slammed his shoulder into a door, it would probably taco like this. And if Dom tried that, he'd probably just break his shoulder.